age of 16, I guess most of us probably didn't really know what we wanted to do with ourselves for a career. Did you know at the age of 16? I really wanted to be on the radio. Never thought it would happen. And somehow it did. Well, even if we did have an idea of what we wanted to do at 16, we probably didn't know how we were going to go about getting a job and doing it. But for one former pupil of the Plume School in Malden, performing and doing magic has been a big part of his life since he was 5. Connor Freeman started very early, a very determined young man, and, latest developments are he's got himself a place at the National Centre for Circus Arts in East London, and he's with us in the studio right now. Morning, Connor.
Hi, morning.
And we've got Dad, chauffeur Lee, as well.
Hi.
Hi, Dad.
Good morning.
Now, if only you could see this, Lee has got the most brilliant T-shirt on. I was taken in by it. It's a long-sleeve T-shirt, and it looks like it's a suit, a shirt, a collar and a tie. It's very clever, that.
It is, yeah, it fools a lot of people.
I was going to say he's dressed up for the occasion.
Formal.
Good to see you both in the studio. So Connor, 5, really? You were that young when you were showing an interest in performing in magic, were you?
Well, yeah, it was kind of, when I was really young, I saw different circus shows and different little performances while I was on holidays. And there was one moment where, my parents kind of realised I was into performing, where we went to a show for the evening, and there was a kids' part where all the kids went onto stage and had to play air guitar with a plastic shovel to try and win a backpack. And they turned round and saw that I'd disappeared, and I was on stage, like, going full out with this plastic shovel, like, trying to win this backpack. And I came out winning a backpack from that, and since then...
Never look back.
Yeah, they basically just... realised that that's when I wanted to go into performing. And
so it's the plastic shovel.
Yeah,
that was the beginning of everything. Really.
That is the thing.
Shovel,
that's
definitely.
What started it.
Yeah, that's the inspiration.
There's a difference in obviously showing, those tendencies at 5 and obviously following it through. Obviously, you just became more and more involved and more passionate about doing it.
Yeah, I kind of just saw different things, like the internet started to open up at this point, so I started to explore different magic and all these other performers, and just it kept on building up to the point where I was like, well, this is what I want to do. I just can't do anything else. This is amazing, in my opinion.
Dad, Lee, how does that go down when you've got your son and says, so what do you want to be then? Well, I'd like to be a magician, Dad.
Well, obviously the usual thoughts of slightly out there and slightly different.
Get a proper
job. But, I try not to go along with that. You hear it all the time, and I just thought if he's passionate, you could see the passion from an early time. And I've always told both my children, if you can end up doing what makes you happy and what you enjoy,
yes,
rather than what people tell you to do, then you're gonna have a happy career. For him to get up every morning and go off to do what he wants to do, it's important.
Oh, that is, you are so right. I mean, yes, definitely. If you can enjoy your job, even if it means you don't get paid as much as you would if you're working in the city or
forget the money,
being an account, forget the money. Enjoy what you are doing. It is really, really important. I totally agree with that, full-heartedly. So, favourite performers and magicians, Connor, who has inspired you over the years, would you say?
Well, the biggest inspiration for me was a guy called Sylvester the Jester, and you wouldn't have heard of him at all.
I think he passed me by.
Missed that one.
Yeah, you wouldn't have heard of him because he is he performed on cruise ships and in like small places, and he didn't just do magic. He did a whole act based on cartoons, where he was a living cartoon. So you see when in cartoons they hit themselves on the head with a hammer and their head would go flat. He created these individual little props to make it look like his head was that size, or his thumb would go big when he bit it, or something like that. And it wasn't normal magic, it was different, and that's what made me go, wow, that's a section I want to explore more.
That is, I mean, it's coming up with that little piece of the market, isn't it? And trying to do something that's unique. Somebody, perhaps has done it, but not in the same way as you're going to do it in the future. And the magic is one thing, but hang on a minute, the National Centre for Circus Arts, what's taking you down that route?
Well, I kind of started to look into the circus part of magic, because if I was going to go into a job where I was just doing magic. I'd need somewhere that could expand that for me. And after looking at Sylvester the Jester, I thought, well, his job is great, but he's individual. He works on his own. I'd prefer to work as a group, and that's when I started to look at magicians working in a circus or in big tops. But then it kind of lost a bit of the different aspect of it. They were just doing your kid's magic show. So I decided, well, I need to look into, can I go into contemporary circus and contemporary magic and explore that part of it? And that's when circus became part of my life. I started to learn to juggle, and that took me about 3 months just to learn how to juggle normally. And then from there, I just went, well, I need to start to change my lifestyle and become what I want to do.
You talk about your lifestyle, and I know you won't mind us discussing this as well, because you were 16 stone at one point, and that gave you a problem when you were having a tryout on the tightrope of all things, didn't it?
It was I was 16 stone, and I think it was on the taster day. I went into the place, and afterwards I came out walking like a stick figure. It was unbelievably painful, and I couldn't do anything in there except juggle. So I thought, well, I've got to change my lifestyle. So I went down to a local gym every single day after school, and I worked off all the weight, got some strength in areas I needed, and since then they turned around and saw what I'd done, to the dedication I had, and they just went, well, we want you on this course. We want you to do that and have that inspiration and dedication in just all circus areas.
It's going that extra mile, isn't it? And you've obviously lost loads of weight, and you're fit and active now, and better on the tightrope.
Yeah, I've come better now.
Not quite so painful. I don't know how you do that. You've brought in a few props, as no great big saw or box, I'm pleased to say. So I'm not going to be sort of cut in half. Are they your juggling balls?
Oh yeah.
Okay, we might have a little bit of juggling later. But a pack of cards. Now, what magician would be without a pack of cards?
Exactly.
It's just standard prop. You've got to have it. So could you, on the radio, bit tricky I know, perform some magic for us, Connor?
Alright then, well, I'll first shuffle the deck, just to make sure it's nice and
that's a good shuffle.
Fair. I mean, hopefully I can get this right. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull down the bandana I'm wearing.
Yes, he's wearing
into
a sort of black and white paisley bandana over his hair.
Into a blindfold.
It's coming down off his big head of hair, actually. It's an impressive head of hair, anyway. The bandana is sliding down, so now it's covering his eyes, like a scarf, really, over his forehead and down to his mouth.
Right, so
you can't see me now.
No, I can't see a thing.
He's felt the cards on the table.
Right, I'm now going to ask you to select a card.
OK, I'm going to take that one. OK. They're not all the same, are they?
No,
no, I can see. Oh, no, I'm looking now. They're all different. Right, OK. I've got my card. Connor?
Right, and if you could pass it to me.
OK. Face down.
Yep.
Oh, there we are. OK, there we are.
Right,
yes,
thank you.
He's got it in his hand, but he's still sort of holding it towards me rather than himself.
OK.
You've stood it back in the pack?
Yep, now it's in the middle of the pack, and as soon as it goes down, it's lost. Okay.
Yep.
Right, let's...
Now, in the pack of cards.
Let's see. I have now got to try and find his card.
He's now having another shuffle. What's going on? Oh dear, it's in there somewhere.
Let's see.
A pregnant pause on the radio.
Right. I'm going to shake the deck 3 times, and hopefully your card should jump out of the deck.
Here we go.
So, 1, 2, 3.
A card's come flying towards me. It's the 3 of Hearts, which was my card. Wow. And I was watching that really closely, so I have no idea how you did that. You must be relieved. Yeah. The 3 of Hearts, everybody. I'm showing the team next door now. They're giving you a round of applause, Connor. You can lift up the bandana. There we are, that's better. Well, perhaps you preferred looking at me with it down, to be honest. Well done. I mean, I'm not going to ask you how you did it, but that's brilliant. You must be proud, Dad.
Yeah,
I mean, 16, he's done all of this to get to the circus school. He's doing